Okay, so another review from Gen So this one is hydrocarbons. We can use the Lewis symbol that you watched earlier in the previous video in here, drawing a structure. Okay, let's review real quick. So hydrocarbon is those are those compounds that compose of carbon and hydrogen. All right. So normally the hydrocarbons looks like this. The carbon atom connects to carbon atom, connect to carbon, connect to another carbon. It's all the way there. Sometimes you're gonna see heteroatoms, which is anything but carbon and hydrogen. All right, so it could be oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, all these halogens here. We just call them heteroatoms. Right. So basically, hydrocarbon is just compounds that consist of mainly carbon and hydrogen. Right. You probably have seen three types of hydrocarbon so far. So we have alkane or single bond. All right, we have alkene, at least there's one double bond in it, and alkyne, so there's a triple bond, at least one triple bond in there. All right, so it looks something like this. All right, let's talk about the drawing the structure. All right, so if I give you a molecular formula of C2H6 and O, so what do you got? Well, we're going to use the Lewis symbol. In Gen Chem, so they taught you how to count the valence electron, how to put central atom, non-central atom, blah, blah, whatever. It's similar to that, but we're going to keep things simple here, okay? So all you have to do, draw a Lewis symbol and connect them, make them octet. That's it. I'll take a look. 2 carbon, so that's a Lewis symbol of carbon, okay? We have 6 hydrogen, like that. And we have 1 oxygen. These are Lewis symbol. You need to make them correct. Okay. And all you have to do is just connect them. So this is hydrocarbon. So carbon connect to carbon right there. 1 bond right there. And carbon got to connect to oxygen. Of course, you can't. It could be some other way around. All right. The rest, you just make them octet. So hydrogen need 1 more electrons to become stable. So 1 electron, just 1 bond, 1 bond, 1 bond, and 1 bond. And that's it. That's what you get the first structure. Okay. You can repeat this procedure, and you might add oxygen in the middle of the carbon. That's also correct as well. That's why I'm going to talk about constitutional isomers or structural isomers. Now it depends on the textbook, which are the compound the same molecular formula. So they both have C2H6 and O, right? But different structure. So oxygen instead of at the end of the chain is in between the carbon, middle of the chain. Okay, that's constitutional isomer. All right. Constitutional isomer have different property. Start on the left side, we call them ethanol. Boiling point 78.4 degrees Celsius. But on the right side, that's dimethyl ether. The boiling point is negative 23 degrees Celsius. All right, so this is actually a gas at room temperature, but ethanol is a liquid at room temperature. The use or application also different. So ethanol, of course, we know all the alcoholic drink, those are ethanol are the main components in it. Okay, you might have heard the fuel or gas for the car mixed with octane and ethanol. So you get E20, E30, or E85. Okay, those have ethanol mixed in it. All right. Now ether, totally different property. It's a gas at room temperature. They mix dimethyl ether with some other stuff. This one is called freeze spray, used in athletic purpose. When you have ankle sprain, when you have pain or whatever, they spray on it. Keep it cold. Okay, reduce the inflammation. All right, a little bit about functional group. So functional group is something like really basic in organic chemistry. All right. You might feel like, well, I have to memorize this. Of course, you have to know, right? But I don't want you to just keep like memorizing but I want you to see them often enough and recognize them when you see it on the screen. Okay. And think about it. So if you go to a kitchen, you don't have to memorize. This is what we call spoon. This is what we call spatula. This is what we call a pot, a pan, right? You don't flashcard it. Right? But you see them often enough until you know, okay, this is what it's called. This is what does it do? Same thing with the functional group. You have to recognize what does it look like, and then what we can do with it. Okay. So today I'm going to show, just have you pass through, introduce you to the functional group. Let's take a look. So what did you know? I'm sure you have seen alkane, alkene, alkyne before. Okay. So it looks like this. So single bond, double bond, triple bond. I'll add 2 more for you. I'm adding alcohol and ether. Okay, so alcohol, if you see a carbon chain, whatever how long that is, all right, and an OH at the end of the chain, that's what we call an alcohol. Look like that. All right. But if you see an oxygen between carbon chain, could be 10 carbons on the left, 100 carbon on the right, I don't care. If you see oxygen in the middle of the chain, that's an ether. Okay, so we have oxygen at the end of the chain and the oxygen in the middle of the chain. So we have alcohol and we have ether. Okay, so we have alkane, alkene, alkyne. Is it alcohol and an ether? Right? They all have different property. All right, let's try this one. So C3H6 and O. All right, so same process there. Lewis symbol, so 3 carbons, 6 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Okay, so this is a type of hydrocarbon. So carbon connect to carbon, and of course connect to oxygen. Okay, the rest just make everyone octet. So hydrogen, each one of them need one more bond. From bond, one bond, and one bond. All right, let's take a look what else is not octet. Oh, you see the carbon right here, so that unpair is right there is available. Oxygen usually from 2 bonds, but right now have only 1 bond, so need 1 more bond. Connect them right there. You should get this structure. Okay, so C double bond O and hydrogen. Now you can move things around. Repeat the process. You can put C double bond O in the middle of the between these 2 carbon or in the middle of the chain. You should get that something look like that. All right. So 2 more functional group. If you see a carbon chain, let's say 100,000 carbon, whatever, and at the end you see C double bond O and hydrogen, C O and H, we call it aldehyde. Okay, this is an aldehyde. But if you see C double bond O in the middle of the chain, so we have 2 carbon chain, right? C double bond O in the middle of the chain, we call ketone. Down here, so we have aldehyde here, C double bond OH, and at the bottom we have C double bond O in between 2 carbons, so we call ketone. All right. So we have some of you might be familiar with acetone, which is what's it called? Nail polish remover. That's acetone. Look like that. 3 carbons. C double bond O at the end is a type of ketone. Okay. All right. One more time. So C3H7Cl. Okay. So repeat the same process. So carbon gonna connect to carbon. Look like that. All right. So we're gonna have 7 hydrogen. So each hydrogen need 1 bond. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. And we have 1 chlorine, which is group 7. Need 1 more bond. Right there. Okay, so all right, so we got this this compound. Now these are the same. Take a look. So if you put chlorine at the bottom, chlorine at the top, they are the same thing in the 3D structure. This carbon can rotate. Chlorine can be anywhere on this carbon. So these are identical, not constitutional isomer. Okay, constitutional isomer chlorine have to be on different carbon. All right. First one, we have chlorine on carbon on the right side. Well, we could do chlorine on carbon in the middle. Okay, so another isomer, we should get that, right? But we don't put it on the left side because otherwise going to repeat the first structure. Okay, you can rotate. Same thing, same compound. All right, before we go, so now let's review the functional group real quick. So we have alkane single bond, alkene double bond, alkyl triple bond, at least one of them. All right, alcohol, so oxygen in the end of the molecule. At the end of the molecule, either oxygen in the middle of the molecules. Okay, aldehyde, so C double bond O at the end of the chain. Ketone, C double bond O in the middle of the chain. All right, and they all have different property. Okay, all right, let's try. One more. So alkyl halide. All right, so alkyl halide. So we have a halogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, anywhere in the molecule. We call alkyl halide. Okay, alkyl means the alkyl group, which is a carbon chain. How many hours? 100 carbon, 10 carbon, 5 carbon, whatever. All right. Let's see if you recognize a functional group in this 4 compound. All right. First one, let's see if you see. So I'm seeing a double bond right here. So that's an that's an alkene. All right. You probably have you see oxygen at the end of the chain. OH. That's an alcohol. Okay. We have an alcohol there. All right. Now next one. So we have oxygen in the middle of the chain. So carbon chain. That's an ether. You recognize that? Next one is easy. So triple bond as an alkyne. Okay. All right. On the right side, right here. So what we got? We have C double bond OH. That's an aldehyde. We have double bond here, so there's an alkene. All right. Come down here. C double bond O, no H. This is in the middle of the chain. So carbon chain, carbon chain. You know? So C double bond O in the middle of the chain. So that's a ketone. And last one, we have a carbon chain. There's a whole thing is carbon chain with a halogen in it. So we call alkyl halide. Okay. You have to be able to recognize functional group like this. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So. One more. Glucose. So this is a glucose molecule. What do you see there? Ta 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 ta. So OH, 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 and OH. Okay, so all of them, 1, 2, 3. We have 5 alcohol groups. Okay, and one more. Anyone see that? This guy right here. Oxygen in between the chain. So we have carbon chain. Carbon chain could be a ring, right? So, but this oxygen is in the middle of the chain. So this is what we call ether. All right. Be familiar with it the first time. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to keep showing it to you until it sticks in your head. Okay. All right. So I would like to introduce a new section to my podcast. So we call autocorrect. All right. Of course, you guys text. You guys use the phone. You know how to text. Right. Most of us do, at least. And autocorrect sometimes is really helpful. Right. So in terms of spelling and stuff, and sometimes it could cause a problem. Let's take a look what's going on in here. All right, the first person say, how was your weekend? The other one say, good. Went to a farm, did some yard work, had a donut, effed some goats. Fed, not effed. Oh, okay. Sometimes it's dangerous, right? Autocorrect, so watch out then. One more. We have one more. So, what are you up to? Babysitting. Woo! Sitting on the couch, watching a movie, doing homework, eating that food, or while getting laid. I mean, paid. That hurt. That hurt. All right. Let's do the next video. Gonna be the practice for you. Okay.